Good morning. Oh, this was one of those days where it was extremely hard to get up and get going. I woke up at 4:30, which is around the time I usually wake every day ever since I've been doing this diet. Prior to this, I was a late riser, but I've been an early riser ever since I started eating this way. And I got to bed earlier last night than I normally do, about 9:30. Usually I don't go to bed until close to midnight. But up until this past few weeks, I've been going to bed earlier, and I noticed I've been waking more rested. Now this weekend I had a lot of strenuous effort to do, a lot more than I could have done 6 months ago. It would have been impossible for me to have accomplished this weekend what I accomplished if it wasn't for this diet. But I am feeling it right now, and there's a combination of reasons. The fact that it's extremely humid today. When I first came out here at 7:15, it was lightly sprinkling, and then now here it is 7:30, and it's not sprinkling anymore, but the moisture is so thick in the air you can feel it in your throat. And I've noticed on days when there's heavy moisture in the air that it's rough on the body. So two things together, and I didn't want to get out of bed. So when I got up at 4:30, I went right back to bed. And then I listened to my alarm go off every 10 minutes after 6 o'clock until 6:45 when I finally pushed myself out. Because I was thinking about something that's real important on this diet, is the need to overcome the social aspects that are negative about this diet. And that's a result of the fact that so much of our enjoyment time with other people is spent around eating or drinking something, and usually that something is not going to be on this diet, or at least it's going to include a lot of things that are not on this diet. And that can make it difficult to participate. It can make it difficult to do this diet because you want to participate with those people. And I know all my life I was heavier, so it was hard enough to feel like I could participate socially with people. Like eating would make me feel uncomfortable eating in front of them, especially if it was the wrong thing or too much of it, because it'd be like, yeah, look at that guy, man, he's just putting it away, isn't he? But then you watch somebody skinny as a rail eating the same thing, you think, man, I wish I could do that. But because the social aspect of this diet, it can be so rough on you, I wanted to be here for you today. This was one of those days where I just said, you know what? It's raining outside. I don't feel good. I don't want to go, but I made a commitment to be here for you. And if it's possible for me to get up and do some exercise in the morning, I'm going to be here with you. Because I know a lot of you need that motivation, and you motivate me to do it. So thank you. Thank you for motivating me with your need for motivation. Oh man, I'm definitely not going to go for a long walk as I have been going on, because this is just to overcome the desire not to tell myself I'm still going to do it even though I don't want to. But the thing that Jordan Peterson said that sparked that question about socially was that there is just an unlimited number of problems in this world, but there's only a handful of solutions that work practically, psychologically, and socially. Lion Diet seems to be very practical, at least for me, because it's reduced the amount of time that I spend going shopping. I mean, I'm in and out of the grocery store in 10 minutes. And that's if I'm lollygagging. So that's very practical. It gives me more time. It's easier to decide what I'm going to eat because there's only a few things to choose from. So it makes it easier to make a decision as to what I want. And ever since I've discovered the air fryer, it's made it very easy to make the meat that I want to eat without having to make too much up front. You know, like prepare several days worth so that I don't ever have any missing. So it's become very practical, psychologically it helps, because I mean, I noticed that within a couple of days. If you go back and watch my first video on this diet, which was 125 days on Lion Diet, you can see day 1 through day 3 that I'm noticing a difference psychologically. It was almost like taking a drug. It was so good. And my body was just begging for it. And my body still begs for beef and steak. I mean, it's ready. It wants the salt. It wants the meat. And now it wants the water. I've had a few people ask me about how to overcome some of these sugar cravings. And some of them have admitted that they still drink diet sodas. And I truly believe that that's a big part of what's causing you to want to eat things that you don't need to eat, is because the artificial sweeteners cause your body to want sweets. And I think it even has a greater effect than eating sweets does. But sweets themselves cause you to want to eat sweets, because the bacteria in your gut that needs that to thrive is telling your brain, eat more of that. And that's why it's hard to overcome. Well, your body really doesn't know much of the difference between real sugar and fake sugar. It still produces insulin as if it's getting sugar, and your body doesn't find any sugar for your insulin to deal with, and that causes you to crave something for that insulin to deal with. And if you're struggling with putting down the sweets, that's going to be a big start. It took a long time for me to kick sodas. It took a long time for me to kick sodas regular, using diet sodas. And then for several years, that was my mode of operation, until I realized this fact about diet sodas, that they cause you to crave more sweets. And that was when I decided, well, I don't want to drink soda. So I started trying sparkling water. Initially, it wasn't very good. I didn't like just having sparkling water, or even the lightly flavored sparkling water, because it didn't have any taste to me at all. But I gave it some time and kept going back to it until it got more and more natural, and it was more and more natural not to drink diet sodas. And for a while, I would also try some other drinks that I thought were okay to have, like a company called Bai, B-A-I, makes these juice flavored drinks and coconut flavored drinks that have coffee bean juice in them and all kind of stuff. But they talk about having antioxidants and how it would be healthier for you. So I bought into that logic and drank some of those along with my sparkling sodas. Eventually they took over the sparkling sodas, and it was rare that I would have one. And I realized, okay, this has gotten out of control. I'm drinking all of the Bai and none of the sparkling water. It really wasn't until I started adding salt to my sparkling water that I began to crave the sparkling water, as opposed to craving the other things. And I was able to put the Bai drinks behind. I'd already put the diet drinks behind. I'd already put the regular sodas behind. So it was a long process. I think that kind of gives me an advantage when I started this diet. So it's fair to bring these things up, that those sodas are very difficult to overcome. But if you start to think of them as your enemy, it might help you push through to victory. So psychologically, this made the diet a lot easier for me, is that my body was craving the things that I was giving it: the meat, the water, and the salt. Socially, though, there was not much except for a relaxed mental attitude that would help deal with this. You know, I would have to soothe the people I was with understanding that I'm not offended by the fact that you're eating these things with me. I want to be in your presence. I'm your friend. I'm your family member. I want to be with you. But just understand, I don't want to eat what you're eating. And you're not hurting me to eat it in front of me. Although sometimes it was difficult. But it's like a trade-off you have to make. Do you want to have the body you want to have and the mind you want to have? Do you want to have your friends and family? So you have to kind of endure some things sometimes with those you love. But isn't that true all the time? But we're back here for a few days. I'll be taking down an RV to the land that we're gonna be trying to hopefully build a house on soon. Really kind of depends on a few factors. I have a lot of puzzle pieces to put in this week to make everything go smoothly. But this is step one. Monday morning, get up, get that walk. Not gonna start my day without trying to do something that gets me started the right way. And if I can do that with you and help you start your day the right way, I like it. Well, I'm at the 1 mile mark already. I've already done as much as I plan to do for the whole day, and I still got to turn back. So good things come when you push through. And I'm glad I was here with you. Y'all have a good morning.